That's Trippy's FC. If it's 5202, then yeah.
Trippy.
Yeah, I would say like a 4. I mean, it doesn't have to be that long of a countdown. It can be like a
Hello and welcome everyone to the division qualifier match between Longshaft University LSU and Caught in a Melody. We have a very good match. Melody trying to get that D2 spot, and LSU is hoping to stay in D2 and not go down to D3. We can probably jump into lineups first and see what we have going on today.
Yep, and I did not properly introduce myself, but I will be casting this as well. Your boy Fresco, you guys know who this is. Come on, you know the GOAT. We're in for a treat, guys. We're in for a big treat. This is going to be basically the match between LSU and Melody, who's going to be seeded D2. And this is going to be extremely interesting match between two teams who were very, very good in D3 last season. Melody did play in the finals, and LSU was an inch away from making playoffs. But now LSU has changed their roster like dramatically, and Melody has made some adjustments to their roster. So these are two completely different teams playing each other. So
Right.
very, very, very interesting what we're going to see here. So let's just dive into the LSU lineup. Let's just see who's playing for that team, and we'll show y'all who's playing for the Melody squad. So we'll have that for you in a couple of seconds.
All right, so for LSU, we have Brody, Sam, Trippy, Rerim, and Sully bagging. Fresco, this is a really good lineup for LSU. They're probably their main one that they will be using for the whole season, especially for the qualifier matches in one of the most important matches to start off to determine what division you'll be in. Of course they would. Fresco, what are your thoughts on this LSU lineup?
Well, I know everyone knows, I have a lot of thoughts about this lineup. And just to start off, because my brain is scrambling, but Brody played for JC last season in D1, so he's coming up now. So now he's changing teams. He's obviously going to LSU now, so that's a huge addition, very very strong addition to the team, and definitely someone who LSU is going to be basically depending on to really 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 not carry, but I would say like he's definitely a strong player who needs to score. Like this player is going to perform. Sam is making his return to GSC league match, and he is making his running debut. Keep in mind, Sam has never ran in a league match before. This is his first time. He was bagging for JX the other season. He took some time off of Mario Kart. People thought that they wouldn't see him ever again, but now he's back. And we have Trippy, who's been an OG LSU player for quite a few seasons. Basically, every single season he's played in GSC. He's been playing for LSU, so he's a very dependable player. And Rerum, he did play for BK, and that's he's definitely another strong addition to the team. And now we have Sully, who played for MW before, and now he's coming to LSU. So now LSU has just gathered all these players from all these interesting settings and have just bunched them up together. And these people know each other, and they've played together, and they know each other's play styles, and they're extremely skilled. So they're going to be ready for this match for sure. They're definitely more than ready to take on this challenge. So let's go to Melody and let's see what LSU has to compete against, because they're not going to get into D2 without beating this other team as well. So we can't just say we can't just count them out. So we got to look at the other side of things as well. So as the Melody lineup is coming up, Vinny, I want to ask you your thoughts about this team, because I went on a ramble about LSU. So I want you to just voice out what you think about this lineup and about how they can possibly compete against this LSU lineup, because it is indeed very strong.
I got you, Fresco. So for Melody, we have Charge, Kenny, Mark, Karalte, and Jack bagging. This also is really strong lineup for Melody. They're also bringing out their main lineup as one would expect. Charge leading the pack. He's been in Melody for every season that they've played as well. He's a longtime player, a really good runner, often scores a lot of points, holds his own up there, but also has really strong support runners in Kenny M, in Mark, also known as O'Shizzle, some people might know him by. Karalte, whom I haven't seen play the game in a while. He might have been playing a little bit behind the scenes or streaming with Melody, but I think he took a little bit of a hiatus, if I remember, if I'm correct on that. But he is also an old player. He's been playing for a number of years, competitive MKWii, so I would assume he hasn't lost his touch. And of course, Jack, a former D1 bagger, bagging for Melody. Now, in previous GSC seasons, especially like last year for AU, he has ran and has not bagged in a long time. So you have to wonder if there will be some rust from Jack's part bagging, or if he will keep his if he will keep his D1 gameplay. I imagine he will. Is bagging, it's I don't think you really ever forget the strat. You remember how to do most of them, so I think he'll do just fine in that department. And I guess on the runner side for Carlton, you could say the same if he'll show a little bit of rust playing in such a high stakes matchup like this. And will the pressure get to him, or will he stay strong mentally and be the really productive runner that we know he can be? Mark as well, a little bit of an underrated runner, but he can very quietly put up like 110, 120 in points and really help out Melody. I think he'll be the X factor in this match personally, as to whether or not, if Melody is to win this match and win this best of 3, I think you'll see Mark and Charge probably being big parts as to why they win the match and being very successful. And also, of course, Jack, if he'll get a lot of shocks against Sully. This one thing I am very interested in is the bagging battle, Sully versus Jack, who will, I imagine it'll probably be even as far as shot count and everyone, both of them probably making the strats, but it'll probably maybe come down to shocks, or maybe just like normal like pack plays, instant plays. That's my thoughts. Resco, what are your thoughts on Melody? Just quick thoughts.
I think just to give you like the fast food thoughts about Melody, because there are 10 people in this room and this war is about to start. But what I think is possible is, in my opinion, LSU is going to be the favorite to win, because obviously, they have Brody, a former D1 player. They have Sam, who's bagged for JX, and obviously he has ran a lot of high div wars before, and people know who he is. He's a good runner. And Trippy, Rerum. So LSU has a very strong lineup. So I feel like they're going to be favored to win, but that doesn't mean Melody can't win. There's a lot of like misconception that people just think that just because a clan has a really, really strong lineup that they're just automatically going to win. No, I've seen teams that have beaten teams that they shouldn't have even won against. Um, I've seen teams who have been the underdogs to win and they've won. So it's definitely possible that Melody can win this match, and they're more than equipped to play this match, to compete against LSU's players. Like Charge, Kenny, Mark, Karalte, and Jack. These players can win. It is very possible that they win, but I think that Melody has a much smaller margin for error than LSU has. Just because LSU's lineup is so strong, I'm not saying like if they make a mistake that it's less severe, but what I'm saying is LSU will be able to recover from their mistakes a lot faster because of how strong their team is in terms of chemistry and in terms of how often they've been playing with each other. And I think that if Melody wants to win this match, they have to be extremely focused and they cannot make many mistakes. I think that the stakes are higher for Melody than they are with LSU. And I think that in this match, we're going to have to see Melody play almost flawlessly in order to pull out this win.
I have to agree 100% with those takes, and we will see MT with these track picks as the wars getting later. We'll see MT for LSU, pretty standard, starting 1, 3, 5, 7, and Koopa Cape for Melody as they're starting in 2, 4, 6, and 8. So yeah, pretty standard track picks here for the starting race, and we will see Koopa Cape being the track pick for race 1 of this division qualifier match between LSU and Melody. Let's get it going, Fresco. I'm excited for it. How about you?
Let's get hyped, bro. I'm super hyped, bro. Let's go. Come on. We're seeing who's
know.
D2. You already know, bro. You already know. My hands are all sweaty and stuff, and all I can do is just commentate. All I can do is just say what's going on. And bro, this is gonna be an insane matchup. So as we see Rerum with the golden here, that's just what you want in that spot.
He's gonna use this, probably take the both cuts right here and get into so far the top 3 spot. Yep, and he's going to find himself in second right behind Kenny right now. Ooh, I think he owned... Nope, Kenny's still ahead, so he's going to have to concede to Kenny right now as Nana's in first. Reroom with no item. All he has to do, he's just got to try to avoid these Nanas as best he can at the moment, and try to at least hold down second right now as he avoids that backspam from Kenny. Karalte is busy holding a star right now in 7th, and assume he's going to try to hold it if Jack were to try to go for shock or something, but he's probably just going to opt to take the first cut.
Yeah, I think it's better that he chains this item here, but he doesn't chain it and he doesn't get the trick, and he lands on the fib, the obvious fib. That's definitely going to make him lose some time there. Probably a controller mistake, but as we see Rerum with no item still, that's very, very, very detrimental. You need an item in KC, especially in a bottom spot if you want a chance of getting up there. But I mean, then again, the pack is pretty close, so I don't think he has to worry, and he pulls triple shrooms, so I think as long as he just avoids back spam and, you know, just doesn't hit anything, obviously, then, as Trippy Megas.
Nice mega
that blue.
Trippy there.
Yeah, that's very, very, very huge.
We did see Rerum actually pull a blue earlier in the lap and blew Kenny out of first and then pull the triple shrooms, which did shake up the spots on here a little bit. But yeah, really good mega from Trippy there. And now we see Rerum with a bomb, opts to back it, and doesn't even let me see a TS.
There we go. So Sam and Rerum get shocked before said that was definitely Melody's shock, but I'm thinking that Sam and Rerum did slow down because they knew a shock was coming there. So that was very, very smart of them to do that.
Definitely. You really don't see oftentimes both baggers who are still at the backward set get shocked. Usually if one of them do get shocked, they oftentimes go forward with it. But you might have seen the baggers pull like right then and there maybe and use a quick shock there that was kind of abrupt. But we see Krawlta with the bomb sniping here. Doesn't hit. Rerum with one shroom in third. He's going to opt to take out here 2-3 so far for LSU, but with Mark in first place, he's going to keep that. Another shot coming in. And
yeah, that was a last minute shock. And I'm thinking that it got Charge after the set.
It did, yeah.
Because Trippy slowed down, so Sully did have that second shock, and he used it so it can get Trippy in the set, and for him to pass. And that's extremely smart, especially with the last minute shock. You do want to salvage those spots. I think the LSU played a lot better, especially Trippy, just like back megging, you know, taking the time to schlag. And like that's something that people don't really really look at that much is the schlagging part. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just so valuable, and we see that Melody gets 1-4.
So pretty much an even race to start off with. LSU did get the 2-3 though, so the salvage there pretty mixed spots. Even with 2 shocks coming in on KC, we saw a little bit of a shake of the spots, but not too much. And kind of as you alluded to, Fresco, with Trippy slagging abilities, it's an underrated aspect of this game. Slagging in the mid pack can literally win or lose you wars. And Trippy, as many of you know, is on a whole nother level when it comes to slagging in the mid pack. Like he is god tier, has god tier slagging abilities, and we saw that once again on display on Kuba Kate there.
And I think that Melody has to incorporate some of these things, especially the little things, like as we were mentioning, schlagging, you know, like the item usage when it comes to like taking cuts and stuff like that. Obviously, you know, you want to take the shortcuts, obviously, you know. We're not saying you don't, but it's that Melody has to utilize a lot more things in order to get these races, because obviously, you know, Jack is not very he's rusty when it comes to bagging, as you said before. He hasn't bagged in a while. Sully has more experience bagging, so you know, we're gonna have to see Melody obviously playing perfectly. And kind of do what LSU was doing in terms of shagging, kind of like that. You know, I mean, obviously that wasn't really intentional. It didn't really look intentional to me, but it's more the principle. It's like you have to get them in their bottom spots as soon as possible, so you know there's really no worries when it comes to, you know, running in the top spots.
That's right. So you see Krawlta with a mega in fourth right now, Mark in third. So 2-3-4 right now for Melody, and we see Sam running it up in first right now. and he should be able, I would imagine he holds this first quite well. I'd see only a blue or a shot getting him out of there as he is building up a lead already. And we know Sam, even though he bags in league matches, he's still, I can't forget, he's a really strong runner. So if he's in first here and we see him block the rail with a fib there, it's going to be very tough to get him out there. And we see Karalte forcing his mega because of the green, but there's the blue on command, like right, and we see a red from Kenny going to try to combo Sam. Looks like this red will connect on him.
That's I don't think it does. I don't think it does. Yeah.
But Karalte hits the Nana in first, and that's going to let Sam get back into first. We see Rerim in sixth right now with no item, trying to play mid pack. Does get triple shrooms though. So will opt to go for cut. We see both baggers pretty much.
Oh, and then the back bomb on the bridge. There's nowhere you can go for that. that's very unavoidable, and it's very unfortunate that Karalte did use his mega there, because that would have definitely been useful when Sam got blue. Definitely having a mega in first would definitely just have you over the top. But yeah, that bomb was very, very bad for LSU because now they're bottom 2.
Sully is gone in 10th too, by the way. So no one at the moment has shock. Sully just getting up the stairs at the moment. And yeah, Jack is trying to chase him back and trying to get in 10th. So at the moment, so Sully just lost Bill. So it is shockless at the moment, but we could see Sully pulling shock very soon. And if so, that could...
I think another blue shell came, yeah, and hit Kenny.
And he's out of first. And now Sam's still in first, but 2-3 still for Melody. But if Sully does get shocked, this could be GG's for Melody as LSU.
Oh, and Sam kind of messes up there. Or maybe he got wheelie bumped by a bagger, perhaps, but he loses first because of it.
Yeah, nice.
That's not good.
There. But Shroom Karalte does have a Shroom in third, so he'll be taking cut. And both of them get
taken out by the fib. Oh my goodness!
Wow.
Whoa, what was that? Yo, that just came in like an RKO.
RKO fib on God right there, man.
Oh my God, yeah, that
Karalte in first barely, but we see a great contest of Brody. Shock does come in. I'm not sure who all dodged. We see two people still way back there, but Karalte does not end up getting first there due to that
Brody
shock.
saves the day. Brody saves the day.
I believe that was a LSU shock there, unless I'm completely wrong and Jack got it in 9th. But yeah, that shock literally got Brody first there. So good job by Sully getting shocked, and good job by Brody coming up and taking over for Sam, who was one of those unfortunate racers that got taken out with that weird fib.
Yeah, I did not know what that was, where it came from. That was very, very interesting nonetheless. But Melody does get like a good race out of that, despite Charge or whatever not getting first.
Yeah, so still Melody wins the race, even though LSU Shock and Brody did get first. So good. So yeah, really good salvage there. I saw quite a bit of Melody up at the front, to be fair, for most of the race. And on RBC, if you have most of the top spots, more often than not, you're gonna win the race, and it's gonna be a pretty big winning race. And that's what we saw right there. LSU and Melody are tied right now, 61-61. So deadlocked after two races. Couldn't ask for any more.
I'm telling you, man. I don't like blowout matches, and I'll say this like 5 million times. When I'm casting a match, I don't like to see one team getting beat by hella points, or I don't like to see blowout matches. I like to see close matches because they're interesting, you know? Like, you don't know who's gonna win. Like, it's always like the uncertainty of like, yo, I actually don't even know who's gonna win this match now. Like,
exactly.
We were just talking about the lineups, and we were just like saying who we thought was gonna win, but now it's tied. So it's like, how do you really know? You know?
Exactly. So
it's just fun.
BC3 coming in for the third race, and Rerim probably gonna opt to maybe get Shroom's weight. Nope, he's gonna get box 4. Does get a Shroom anyway, so he probably won't get his hit cut. I imagine it will get blocked. We see Karalte with triple nanas in second right now, Sam in first. Probably gonna see Sam blocking cut. That would be the wise move in my opinion.
Right.
We see Rerim. Actually, Sam.
Cut's not even blocked, and he rushes the cut and he fails it. Yeah, he rushed it. I think he rushed it a little bit.
Yeah, cut was open there. I don't know if that was a block attempt with that Nana, but if it was, I mean, it's not a good attempt. But yeah, nonetheless, Rerim does fail cut, and we see Karalte in second, or Yeah, Carlton in second, and Charge in 3 right now.
Sam.
So
I think
2,
Sam
3.
is in first. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, Trippy is. Trippy is in first. I'm thinking that Trippy took cut, and
Yeah,
now
Sam.
Melody is 2-3. Trippy's definitely gonna look to block cut here. I mean, there's just no way you don't block cut.
Charge in 3 with the green right now. Rerim with the golden in 7th after using the star. Yeah, I would have to imagine Sam for period blocks cut. We see.
Oh, as a shot comes.
After.
That's a very interesting. Yeah, honestly, I kind of like that play. You know, obviously, if it works out for the better. But oh, Rerum just gets mopped by that star while he tries to take cut. That's probably why he took the little fast cup lap 1 because. Yeah, that's it hurts a lot. That definitely hurts a lot. But as I was saying before, what happens with that shock is that Trippy probably had a Shroomin first, right? And they had shock. They want to give him guaranteed first. So that's why when Trippy took cut, they called shock so the 2-3 could not take cut. But what I don't necessarily like about that play is that it gives Melody the potential to pull blue shells, and it gives him the potential to pull a second shock. And that, you know, first might potentially be lost if you don't play that the right way. But I think Trippy gets guaranteed first, and I think that was a good play, depending on what the other LSU members do past this point, and what other spots Trippy's teammates can get after that shock.
As we see right now, Rerim gets redded, so now it's we see Kenny in 5th and still 2-3, Carlton in 2nd, Charge in 3 right now for Melody. So looking like it is going to be a winning race for Melody here as we see everyone crossing the line. Sam is all the way back there in 8th. So yeah, really good race for Melody. And going back to that was LSU shock there lap 2 with Trippy taking cut and then them shocking so that Melody couldn't take cut lap 2. And we saw that massive breakaway he had, and that's the beauty of BC3. If you use the shocks the right way, you can give yourself like a 30-second lead. And even that blue lap 3 just did not matter. Trippy, after blocking the cut, like he was just getting that guaranteed first, like we said.
Yeah, but he doesn't get first. That's the whole point. And as I was saying, I was saying before, if you use a lap 2 shock, okay, and you have that guaranteed break, there is still a chance you're giving the other team a chance to pull shock, you're giving the other team a chance to pull blue shells, and you might not even get first out of that play. That's the whole point, is that it's still a gamble. You still have a chance of not getting first. And as we're seeing here, Melody got 1-3-4 instead of Trippy getting first. So you're still running the risk of losing first because blue shells, TSs, you know, the other team pulling dodges or the other team making cut if you're not that far ahead. So, you know, at the end of the day, the risk didn't even work out. Even though we knew the intention behind the play, you still have to consider what risks you were taking in order to potentially get that spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Like it's not nothing's guaranteed in MKWii anyway. Like you would think even with 30-second lead you get first, but that's just not the case, especially on track like BC3 with it being so volatile. You know, like you can do. That's why maybe it would be better to try to hold shocks to like late lap 2 or lap 3. Might be the play on BC3 to give the other team less chance to come back and, as you said, pull blues and stuff and shrooms to take cut and all that stuff. But
ooh, yeah, the backfib on a backfib. You know, TF is one of those tracks that if you get the boxes, you get the item boxes, you get the shocking items, and you go to town, you know, that can turn into a very, very big slugfest.
As we see top 2 for Melody early on with Kenny and Mark up there. Rerim in 3rd after taking Shroomless. Mark fails though and gets it caught in the mud and believe Rerim nanted him too. So now Rerim finds himself in 2nd and
gets sniped out of 2nd.
Yeah, by I think Mark, unless that was Brody, but Mark gets redded into the stomper, I believe. So 2-3 for LSU, and now you see him starting to make their way up into the top spots with both baggers still sitting at first set. Probably you'd have to bank on this, at least for the moment, being shockless, as it looks like spots are pretty even. So you just gotta worry if you're Melody. You gotta worry about getting up to the front right now because LSU is starting to take over more of those top spots, and you cannot let them get that far ahead, even though we do see Kenny running up in first still right now. But this bomb could be huge for Rerim that he has here in third.
Yeah, I think he has to call that back bomb. He has to communicate that very well because it looks like Trippy is kind of behind him a little bit. There we go. I think he bombs Mark right there. And as you were saying before, Melody is one blue shell away from potentially being in a situation they do not want to be in. Even though they are 1-4 and LSU has not pulled a blue yet, which is quite surprising. So even though LSU is up here in 2-3, it looks like Melody's just going to get 1-4 again and might even potentially get another winning race.
It looks like it, yeah. We see Charles streaming up here in fourth at the end. He's gonna shot come in
and
late.
He steals third. He steals third.
Yeah, very late shot. I assume that was a Melody shot to get Charge in third there, and it worked. I mean, he took third right from the jaws of Rerim there, and that ends up being a 1-3 now for Melody and another winning race by of a little margin, but yeah, so we see 1-3 bottom 2-10. So just barely by the skin of their teeth they won that race, and they would have lost that race if it weren't for that last second shock there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely more of an even race. Not really much to really talk about, but I think that there's a lot of mistakes that LSU is making that we're not seeing in this match. Like, I feel like the players who aren't streaming there might be something going on that we don't know of. Like maybe someone got backbombed, maybe someone got starred. I don't know, because we only saw Rerum and Brody up there the whole race, so we weren't really seeing Trippy and Sam too much. So there might be something going on in the call that we really don't know of, but I think Melody is the team right now that's stepping up to the occasion, and they're playing extremely well. And obviously, one could argue that they're playing a lot better than LSU right now.
100%. You're seeing them take advantage of the little things a little more than LSU's, in my opinion. And since the shot count isn't really lopsided, it's a little even. I think it's a little more in favor of Sully right now. But you're just seeing them take advantage more of these shots and getting the most out of them, in my opinion. And this could come down to whoever wins this match, to be honest, is who just takes advantage of the little things. And we'll see what they can do here on DDR, but it's going to have to be a great start here from Kenny if he wants to keep first here. And we'll see him go for Sandhop. Brody opts to go around Wise. He gets bumped, though.
It's bumped, and Sam gets backed after Sandhop as well.
Yeah. So it's Rerim's second right now, charging fifth with the Shroom. Gosh, from away from that TC that Brody has, and Brody's going to end up getting TC'd and back-redded too from Charge. Really good play from Charge there, so Brody's going to be gone in eighth. And top two for Melody, we see Karalte now in second. Rerim's going to try a Nana Snipe. Doesn't look like it connects, but gets a red shell. And depending on if Karalte has an item or not, this could take out Karalte as he just backed his green type there, missed. We see both baggers pretty even right now. Both just went through the cut. Rerim gets back.
Rerim gets backed by the Sandhop. And as we're seeing, Melody is playing extremely well when it comes to and he just gets past the TC and he falls off. I don't quite. Yeah, I guess that just happened.
So he's now 1-8. Hold out, the tides have turned. Now Brody is laughing in the face of Charger right now, but Rerim with this POW, he could really take advantage of this POW fresco right here if he used it.
He gets POW'd into the Nana, it doesn't get the box, and I don't think anything really happened there.
Yeah.
I think he was definitely trying to chain his items, but I guess he couldn't do it. And we're just seeing Melody just in the top spots a lot more.
Get up on the ultra, that is not good.
That's just Annie misses the box, which is going to be another big notable mistake.
Mark in 6 at the moment. I think LSU is we know they're 3-4 right now, but I believe Kenny is might still be in first, either first or second. We'll see if Shock comes in here.
Yeah, I think Melody's top two. I think they're geting top two, and as we see Mark dodging in a Mega, and he has triple red, so he's probably going to red someone out of the line.
Charge
and LSU getting like 6'8", 5'6", 8".
So yeah.
That's not good. That's gonna be that's gonna be another winning race for Melody there. And literally they were in top spots the whole time, as we saw from the beginning of the race. Like as Brody hitting the wall on the first turn, Sam getting back on Sandhop, and that just gave them enough space to just run it up. And they didn't even get blued either. I didn't see any blue shells, nothing. Which is something that they are getting extremely lucky with. But at the same time, that's going to be another like just dominant race by Melody, you know? Another just
1, 3, 4, 5
huge
again.
race.
So, and yeah, you did mention a good thing, a lack of blues, but at the same time, to be fair, I mean, if you're LSU, you can't really be blaming a lack of blue shells as to why Melody is getting these winning races. Like, I'm not seeing as much frontal presence as I'm seeing with Melody here. With them, they just got to contest the top spots a lot more. They didn't really do that on DDR, but we did see some really good trapping in the Sandhop from Melody at the same time. So I think they're just they're just flat out playing better right now than LSU. And on the scoreboard, at least it's showing 168 right now, Melody to 137 LSU. But there's still time for LSU to turn it around. You're still only halfway through the war. But you got to start turning it around now and start getting up to the front and creating a new game plan, because whatever they're trying to do right now is just not working with against Melody right now, you know?
I mean, the last thing you want to find yourself in is a 0-1 deficit. And that's just something that, it's going to put more pressure. And at the same time, just because your lineup might seem better on paper, this and that, doesn't mean that that's going to translate onto the track. That's going to translate onto the item usage, translate to the back spam spots. Melody is actually back spamming a lot better and more efficiently than LSU is. And that's something that we're seeing here in this match, is that Melody's back spams are a lot more efficient and they're a lot more effective. And as I was saying with the schlagging part, like that's kind of a part of like the schlagging thing as well, is like the back spams, And I think that Melody is just, the spots that they're using them in, and the way that like they're countering LSU's item usage and stuff like that, is definitely a contributing factor to why they're winning this match by a decent amount, and could potentially increase that lead as well.
100%. And we see Rerun with a mega in fourth right now. Sam in third, Charge trimming up into fourth with triple shrooms too, so he's gonna take cut here. Gonna take a second using one shroom here. We see Kenny in second, Brody in first right now, so LSU does have first, but 2-3, 2-3 for 2-4 for Melody right now, and Sam in fifth. Rerun still holding this mega, which might tell me that Sully is holding shock right now. We see both baggers still at the moment going back pretty even, but believes Jack is just ahead in 10 right now.
Sully doesn't have. I think he hit a dog, and as Rerum chained the mega there. So Sully does not have shock. Probably got Bill out of him. So I'm thinking Jack is in 10th, and he has the chance to pull.
Yep. So we'll probably see Jack pulling shock here in a minute. Right now, Rerum just goldening up, going to take the cut here. Kenny doing the same. And 1-3 right now for LSU. So LSU is in a good spot, but if Jack does pull shock, Melody is gonna have all the momentum, all the cards in their hands right now, and all the things that they need to win this race here. If Jack does have shock, we'll probably see a shock into set here, but the same thing even if LSU doesn't.
And there's a blue shell.
Brody, yeah.
That's not good. Yeah.
There's shock.
As we see Melody dodging that shock.
Jack had, Melody shock right there. Mark dodge. Although Sam, I believe, did dodge as well. And I think that TC got passed from Rerim. I'm not sure. I wasn't looking to who, but Trippy got 7, Karalte got 8. So
Sam shroomed up and took the TC from Rerim, I think. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he kind of saved his race there. I honestly don't even know, because I know Kenny definitely got first. Obviously he dodged. I know that for sure. LSU might have gotten like 2-3-5 or 2-4-5. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, 2-4-5. So Melody does get 1-3 out of that. So it's a relatively even race, or not even, but definitely close. So you know,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a pretty even race. I mean, I guess for Melody, that's at this point, that's all you can ask for. For LSU, you kind of a little annoyed you're getting these. You can't be getting these types of races at this point. It's getting a little bit late into the war. You'd kind of like these winning races by maybe about 8 to 10 points. And unfortunately, they didn't get Shock that race either. But I mean, you just can't be relying on Shock, Like, you just got to keep racing. And that was an unfortunate blue on Brody, to be fair. Like, he was close to getting first, but that blue just secured Kenny the first there. So
yeah.
you just got to deal with it and keep going. 199 to 167 right now in favor of Melody. With 5 to go, we'll see RWS for LSU and MT and Moonview Highway for Melody. And that's what ends up getting picked is Maple Treeway, the bagger Indiv pick. Love to see it.
Definitely not the most
Not the
ideal pick for Melody. I mean, if third jumps in cut, but Rerum isn't fifth, so he's definitely going to be jumping in cut here.
That's
Yeah.
right, and he does jump and cut, and Karalte does the same, and triple reds. This honestly could be good for Rerum as we see. I mean, Trippy is in front of him, but if Trippy does get taken out, he could try to red charge, who also has triple reds of his own too right now. But he's going to be trying to guard Mark right now and keep LSU
hits
at
the
bay.
Wiggler, and he's
That was
eighth with
not
triple
good.
reds, but it's fine. I mean, the pack is still relatively close. I mean, really not much to say here.
Trippy
But triple
bowling
reds,
cards right now.
triple reds,
Yeah.
the slagging effect, and there we go. Brody, it forces him into his mega, and oh my goodness, what happened there?
Trippy got bagged by something.
Wow.
I didn't know exactly, but yeah, I don't think he got mega by Brody. I think Brody barely missed it, but yeah, he got bagged. A bomb snipe failed on bomb snipe 10.
Oh, and the bomb snipe on Trippy by charge, and he's holding the blue, so he's not throwing the blue.
Wow.
He knows his teammates in first, and that's just that's going to be a recipe for disaster. So now first doesn't even have to worry about a blue shell anymore.
2-3 for LSU. Oh, Rerun
And he hits the Wiggler again, and then he hits the wall. Yeah, that's just that's something that you just can't do. Like you're in third, you're in a mega, and it's like such basic fails and like mistakes like that, especially in a high stakes match like this, is going to cost you a lot. That's going to be very, very costly.
It's especially with that mega in third. He could have honestly probably caught up to the Melody first, but not after that. A little blunder there, and we see Charge still holding the blue for Kenny right now. So yeah, unless there's a blue or shot, like Kenny's gonna get first here. But LSU does have 2-3, so it might not all be lost for LSU here. If Rerim can get back up there, he does have a Shroom in 6. So depending on who has Shock, and he gets another mega spams it, you might see LSU Shock if he has, but I don't think Sully has right now.
Nah, because he definitely would have used it if no one else was in a dodge and Rerum gets redded. But also, since Charge is holding the blue, he as soon as first crosses the line, he's throwing that blue.
Yeah. This could be really
so
bad
you might see a second place, and he is so far ahead that he can throw this blue literally like so soon. You throw it now, so Brody gets blued out of second potentially, and
Shot.
There we go. And then he pulls a TC to get to the line and finish in second, so they get top 2.
It ends up being top 2 for Melody. That TC pull from Charge right there.
That was lucky.
Game save, so lucky.
I think that I think obviously we know that Kenny was so far in first that when Charge was holding the blue shell, he was waiting to throw it because 2-3 was right in front of him. Like
exactly.
That was just a free play.
That top 2, that was on a silver platter for Melody right there. Like the Charge was looking at that, those 2-3 going, oh, how tables are about to turn right here, how LSU is about to crumble here, and that's what happened. I mean,
he was ready.
It was death was imminent there for that 2-3 of LSU, much to the dismay of LSU. And then that TC pull just to add icing on the cake right there for that top 2 to happen. But yeah, that race was kind of highlighted by Rerum unfortunately hitting the Wiggler a couple different times when he was in the top spots. And those kind of mistakes, as you were talking about, Fresco, will come back to haunt you in these types of matches. And when the stakes are as high as this, I mean, the nerves might be getting to him a little bit as he is streaming right now in front of like over 100 people. You got to think the nerves might get to him a little bit, but you got to try your best to control those nerves and play your best, the best you've ever played. Because you have all the tools to win that race right there, like all the skill set, the items. You just can't be making those mistakes.
Yeah, that is true. It's definitely a factor. Definitely is a possibility. I don't assume whether someone's nervous or not. It might just be like a mechanical error, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just something that, regardless of whether you're nervous or not, it's just something that is going to cost you, and it's going to cost you spots. It's going to cost your teammates. Definitely like a good amount of spots as well. Just like it could have done there, and it did there. And it's just one of those things where later in the war, it's going to make it 5 times as hard to make a comeback. So if you think in the long term, that's really just not doing anything for you. And you see Rerum getting hit by that red there, and now that Melody is top 2. It's definitely still lap 1, so it gives LSU time to pull items, and you know how important items are in this track, obviously with shrooms and all that stuff, so definitely gives time.
Well, and the pack's pretty close right now, and we saw Charge using a star there to not get the TC. You're going to try to start Sam here. Didn't hit, and so it was just going to shroom away, use that shroom here. Rerim with using a star and 4 because the PAL, and we'll see a LSU shot coming in early to dodge Rerim, and I think that I like that move. You got to try to get Kenny out of first here, and that's what's going to happen, especially with this bomb from Rerim. Probably going to opt to back it. There it is, and will connect. But that's a really smart move by LSU. Like, you have to get into first here because you can run this track, and we see Rerim with a pretty sizable lead.
But as a blue shell comes, that's the thing about Shock, man. That's the dark side. That's
early Shock.
That's what happens. I mean, it happens. You think a Shock will work, and then all of a sudden, another blue shell comes.
Another,
you know,
he's just like 5 seconds, and he's out at first. But LSU is top 2 still, though, with Trippy and Brody. But Rerim now, just like that, is in 8th place after going from like a 5-second lead to now in 8th. But as you said,
I don't see that as a bad thing, though. Yeah, I mean, he has a chance. The pack's close. The pack's close.
True.
He has a golden, and that's the exact item you want. That is exactly what you want. You want a golden up
here for LSU, but he's gonna get. He's gonna break the red.
No, he doesn't.
So top
there we
3.
go. They're top 3.
Brody.
I'm assuming that Melody doesn't have a shock in another blue. Oh my goodness, the
blues are real this race. Their shock does come in for LSU. That was a silly shock as Jack drops a star for Charge there. Good job by Jack. Will he be able to catch Rerim? It looks like it. He's gonna try star and misses. But if he can snipe either Trippy or Brody here, I don't think he will. But gets backed instead by Brody. So that's a really good race for LSU.
Very good race. Despite the blues, man. 3 blues.
3 and like it's so quickly. Like that happens so fast too. But that's this game. It happens just like that. But I know with early shocks you can get blued, obviously, as we saw there. But I still like the idea. I mean, you've got to try something to get Kenny out of first there. Like he was just going to use running that up, and he was not going to be taken out of first unless something like that happens. So you've got to go for it, especially if
for sure.
War with other turtling. You gotta take those risks.
It's very important. Yeah.
Top 2-4 for LSU. Unfortunate for Sam, he got a bottom spot there, but still really good for LSU. I like the aggressiveness. That's what you got to do in this point in the war. Is you got to start playing aggressive and going for those risks there.
Yeah. I think that LSU is just getting extremely unlucky with blue shells. Like when Melody does get up there, they're not necessarily met with those conditions of getting blued 3 times in a race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that just plays a big factor in why the lead is what it is, because I feel like Melody is not getting as penalized or as punished for being in those top spots, because obviously I'm not saying that it's like a bad thing to be in a top spot, but obviously when you're in first, you run the risk of getting blued. That's just a part of the game.
Right.
The other team can pull a blue and throw it at you the minute shock happens or the minute this happens. So regardless of where you are, you have to take a certain amount of salt, like take certain things with a grain of salt and realize even if you are in first, there's still a chance that you're getting blue. There's still a chance that something's going to happen to you. It's not fully guaranteed until it's over, and that's the thing about lap 2 shocks. Is like,
Exactly.
sure, you might be in first right now, but you never know. It's just you just never know. Things can happen. And
Man, Fresco spitting straight facts there with that. I mean, that's just the way it is with the game. Either risk it or you don't. And it'll work out sometimes it don't, but nothing but facts. We see Charge with
that's the golden,
like,
but he gets trailed.
Yeah, that's going to set him back a little bit. Still going to get in a good spot here. Going to avoid these Kenny Greens, but you see Trippy in first right now with the green, it appears. Charge with the Shroom, or Nanas, I'm so sorry for that. But Charge with the Shroom in second. I don't know items, I guess, today, but yeah, Trippy trying to back him. I'm going to say in first. Good Nana spot there. Unfortunately, it doesn't connect, but I like that little unexpected Nana spot. Oh, trying the niche fib snipe, but doesn't connect, unfortunately, on Charge. And we see Rerum hitting a star right now in 8th, gets into a golden, so he's going to golden up, trying to get into the top spots.
And what happened there in third? And as Charge gets back with the fib, it sets him back, Listen, if you're in first, they're second, whatever it is, you have to be aggressive with back spams, especially in this track, because everyone takes similar lines in this track, because obviously, if you don't take those tight, extremely exotic lines, then you're going to be very, very slow. You're going to fall behind, stuff like that. This track is a running track. So if you're in first, you need to be extremely aggressive with your back spams, because the minute that the other team hits it, or it even slows them down, even if you make them go wide and don't hit them, they're losing time, which is extremely, extremely valuable in a track like Moonview.
We see Sully in 10 right now by a little bit. He could have, I was assuming he has shot right now. Rerum with him holding this mega, I wouldn't assume that Sully has a shot. Good bomb car evasion there, knowing it's coming, decides to cancel his minterm. And there it is, Shock dodges a mega and gonna pass Karalte here, probably gonna pass Charge. And
to get third.
Yep. So Charge gets fourth there. I believe Trippy got first, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he lost it, unless I missed a blue or something. I believe he got first. I think that's 1-3 for LSU or top 3.
I think it's 1-3-5 maybe, because Sam was also there. It's kind of unfortunate that Rerum didn't pull any items after Shock, because he could have potentially redded Karalte or who was that, like Kenny out of third.
Yeah, charging Karalte could have taken him.
But yeah, they did get top 3 though. Yeah,
Brody wasn't second. All right, so that is a top.
He wasn't second. Yeah,
so they are making a comeback in these last 2 races. 2 huge races for LSU here. That shock from Sully at the end proved huge for Rerim, as that probably only would have been a top 2 like 5. Instead gets third, and now you're starting to see LSU storming back here. It's not over till it's over. We saw them being down and probably a little bit annoyed a couple races ago. Maybe the mentality was a little low, but they're sticking with it. They're not giving up, which is what only thing you can do in this game. And it's starting to pay dividends for them.
I think like the Moonview race was very, very, very poetic for LSU because of the back spams. The back spams were just too much for Melody to handle, like the fib's tight and the green's back. It slows them down, and it could have potentially made them not take a boost panel, not take a certain route, just stuff like that slows them down, that will give your teammates the opportunity to catch up and get them out of those spots. So that, like, I feel like the back spams just made that race what it was. Obviously, the shock last minute did get Rerum into third, but I think that Trippy back spamming like a lot of his items to slow, them down, just kind of created that opportunity to get the top 3.
Yeah, definitely. Like Trippy's back spams there was the real MVP of that race. Like he single-handedly got LSU that winning race with his amazing back spams and been trying his niche snipe attempts too, as we saw off the banister there on Moonview. But we see Mario Circuit MC3 for Melody here, their track picks, so they're gonna They're gonna try to get a little bit of the luck on their factor. Good Nana from Brody there on charge to make him waste his shroom. Does get triple greens though. Kenny gets up into third here. I assume, yeah, he's gonna let charge pass maybe or not. Okay, to maybe green him, but we see Sam up here now. So LSU multiple times. Ooh, Kenny bomb snipe Sam out.
Nice
of
bomb snipe from yeah, that's an extremely nice bomb snipe from Kenny there, and it's a TC unfortunately.
Charge is gonna use a shroom here to take cut. Brody taking cut as well. So still top 2 for LSU. And we see coming up here on lap 3. One of the batters got Bill. I'm not sure exactly who that was, but I didn't see who that was going forward.
Oh, and as Charge pulls that TC, that is not good. If he gets TC'd here, as Rerum is in a star, so we'll see if LSU has shock and he chains a mega as well.
There.
So we'll see what happens here. And he has the blue, so definitely doesn't have to worry about. Oh, and he throws the blue. As Mark is in first, so he's going to get blued out of first. So LSU gets top 3. That might be a top 4. That might be a top 4.
If Sam snuck in there, or their trailing runner, yeah, that could have been top 4. That blue was pull from Rerum was godly. Like, that was a godsend pull. Because Mark was in first there at the last second, but got blued right before line. We saw a little bit of lag, so I wasn't sure if he died with a shroom or something, but he did get blued. And Trippy and Brody still up there. They got easily coasted into those top spots, and then Rerum there and maybe Sam. So that very well could have been top 4 from MC3. It what top 3-5? Okay, Trippy.
That's still big though. That is still
huge. Oh,
that's still a huge race. I mean, I think that's one of the first blues that LSU has pulled this for.
I think so. I think you're right about that, Fresco. It seemed like LSU hasn't gotten that many blues, but they get one when it matters the most though. And this is we'll see the score update in a second here as we go into the final couple races of this match. It is gonna come down to the last race here. It is coming down to the wire. LSU has brought it all the way back and now is in the lead by 14 points, 312 to 298. They've come all the way back in a span of like 5 races. But that's how quickly it can change in MKWii. As you said before the beginning of the war, LSU you thought was the better team on paper. We saw them struggle a little bit at the end, but now they're finally starting to come into their own. And for Melody, you got to be sweating a little bit now. Like, you just lost this big lead, and it's got to be a little worrisome. And if they can, we see what track gets picked here. It's going to be DK Mountain LSU pick. And with Sam up there, he's really good at this track. So if they run it up, I mean, this, dare I say, this might be a nail in the coffin for Melody here. We think Fresco.
Sam and Brody are extremely strong at this track. Sam has extremely good times in this track. So does Brody. I mean, this is like one of LSU's most prominent tracks. This is like what they pick when they're in top 3 and stuff like that. So it's a very unorthodox track for most other teams, but LSU likes this track. So it's definitely an advantageous kind of pick and thing to have on like the back burner when something like this, a situation like this kind of conspires and happens. And it's just one of those things where I feel like LSU's skill and their sheer just talent is catching up to Melody now. Because it's like, Trippy's back spams, just like the good item usage. I mean, Rerum did get kind of lucky there last race, but with the mega and the star and then the blue, but it's like, look, like now they're just they're like top 3, dude. They're top 3. They're literally top 3. And I think the blue is being thrown.
Yeah, Charge got the blue up. We did see Karalte before lap 2 get taken out by a back from LSU there, so they're still top 3 right now. Shroom in third for Rerum.
They're still ahead. It's just still a heavy lead.
Still shockless, I believe. And yeah, most of Melody is back here right now. So yeah, this top 3, no shock. And if no blue come out from Melody, LSU is probably going to get top 3 here. I don't see them losing this with their running abilities. We did see Rerum flow just a tad there, using his shroom to recover. And we'll see him go into the cannon here. Okay, one of the baggers is going forward, so depending on who that is, someone has...
That might be Jack.
It is Jack, yeah, Jack.
It definitely is Jack, yeah.
We saw it there as they came into the screen. Sully was the one still there. So yeah, they'll dodge Melody and Cannon here. Charge uses stars, but it's still top 3 for LSU right now. Although we'll see what items Melody pulls. They could still salvage this race if they can get maybe a blue, perhaps triple reds. We see Trippy back here with Melody. Still I see a lot of Melody tag back here in the mid pack. Salmon first, Rerim in second, and
They're still top 3. That's
Brody
a top
third,
3 for
yep.
LSU. And
Top
that was an
3.
extremely easy run, like despite the blues, despite the shock. As I said, LSU is just so good at running that track that they had a break in top 3. They literally didn't have to worry about a single thing. I mean, because like in DKM, being small is not as bad as you really think it is. Because like a lot of the times, most people can't really run that track super well, and when you're small, it kind of gives you more like leeway to be able to drive on the track in certain areas. You know what I mean? And so it
Right.
wasn't as bad as getting shocked in like another track. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like that's just, I mean, that's DKM for you. It is so advantageous to running. And yeah, I mean, they were really uncontested. LSU was top 3. This is like literally worst case scenario for Melody now, as it's 352 to 319 with just one left. So it's just a complete disaster for Melody all around. Like they dropped the ball these last 6 races and let LSU come in. But give so much credit to LSU though for sticking in it, and now you're seeing their running prowess really come out here in these final few races, especially on DKM there, taking advantage of their tracks. That's what you got to do, and you got to punish the other team here, and showing that LSU does not want to go down to D3 whatsoever. They were not going to let this deficit stop them, and we'll see if they can finish it this last race.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a meltdown by Melody. It's a big meltdown, and it's kind of sad to see, but at the same time, it's like, uh, it's just when you're such a skilled team, you're not really phased by big leads or big deficits, because you know how good you are and you know how capable you are of coming back from certain deficits. And it's just like LSU kept their composure and they realized like, hey, listen, like it's not over till it's over, and that's literally what it is. This game is so unpredictable by nature that you can't really tell what's going to happen until it actually happens and until it's over. So,
right, Rerim with the bomb and 3. I think it's both Trippy and Kenny there, so I think an even trade-off. We see Karalte and Mark also back here right now with charge. Jack running, so yeah, Melody is going for the all-run technique as they have to if they want to win this. Glitch's block, though, really smart move from Sam up there running in first. We see Charge trying to get up there by spamming that golden. So Asoli most likely going to get shocked this race unless the MKWii gods just frown down upon them this race, which can't happen. You're not guaranteed shock in 10, We've seen baggers just be gone 10 and not get it. So, but they don't need shock. I mean, they're still top 3 running it up here on BCB with a shroom for Rerim. But we do see a Stamp get blued here, though, so that will send him back to the mid-pack, but still top 2 nonetheless. Although Charge needs to make a play with these triple greens right here on Rerim. I mean, he's got to save Knight here if they want any chance of trying to come back in this war. We see Charge fail to POW dodge, though. That is disastrous. That cannot happen there if you want to come back here, because we see Trippy building up here into 5th. Kenny and Mark still in the mid-pack.
Also, keep in mind as well that since Melody is all running, that means LSU can easily pull shock, and they don't even need to have an extremely good race. All they need to do is just not lose by more than 33 points. That's literally all they have to do. And when you're in a situation like that, it's like you can have a runner that's in 8th or 9th, and pull Bill, so then Sully can just pull shock. And then if it comes to the point where, they need shock, like Melody needs shock, they don't have it because they're all running.
Right.
So
exactly.
that's another vital thing that's going to be taken away from them now. because now they're just not going to be able to pull a shot, and that's especially in a race like this, like where they're all like top 2-4 now, and
Yeah, LSU's
it
top.
really looks like Melody is just going to lose. Like I think this is it.
I'm seeing a last-second shot come in. I do not know who was that. Was dodging Bill. We didn't see a name tag, but LSU does win and takes home match 1. We saw them get. Well, Melody didn't get top 4 like 9. We know that for a fact because LSU just got at least a second there. Yeah, we see top 2-4 still sets 4-6 from LSU. So that is a final. LSU takes match 1 of this division qualifier match, and the comeback is officially complete from LSU. Great work on their part. And for Melody, I mean, you go out of this match feeling like you really dropped the ball big time in this match. We will see the final 386 to 341 in favor of LSU. And I mean, that's all I can say is great showing from LSU. Great fight, great perseverance from their part. Way to not give up. And that's really all I can say about this.
I think that although they did beat Melody, right? Now they're up 1-0, and now they have the chance to advance themselves into match 2 with a confident mindset. They have Melody against the wall, but take a minute to consider that if LSU does win this match, um, they showed quite a bit of struggle at the beginning. And when you see, even if they win, they struggled to get that win. And the point I'm trying to make is that when you have teams in D2 that obviously you're trying to get to, right, for the season, those teams are a lot better. No offense, but those teams are D2, obviously, like they're a level above. And you're gonna have a lot of teams in D2 who have stronger rosters, stronger baggers, stronger runners. They're gonna be a lot more team oriented, right? Um, they're gonna have more chemistry. So like they're gonna be able to play with each other a lot better, more smoothly. And if you're struggling in a qualifier match, right, that obviously the two teams aren't really seeded yet, then what happens when you play the teams that are better or stronger or a little more high level, I would say, right?
Right.
So you don't really like to see those struggles that you have, because if you make certain mistakes like we saw in this war against teams that are a lot more that are higher div, then you're going to be penalized a lot more. So I'm thinking more ahead, right? I'm thinking more towards the season, when the season starts, right? Even if you do win, you have to take the struggles and the mistakes that you make in the match, and you have to tell yourself, like, we can't do this during the season because it's going to be a lot more hefty. We're going to get punished a lot more. And we definitely have to look back on this match and fix our wrongs, because we don't want to have those things happen during the season, because this is obviously high stakes. But if you want to be D2, we're going to have to see a lot more smoother gameplay going on from both of these teams, especially LSU, because at the beginning, mostly. So, I mean, they are one win away, but we have to kind of see a little more smooth gameplay on their part, and kind of like how they were playing GP3. That's the way the LSU should be playing all the time.
For sure. So I think we'll take just a small break, maybe like a minute or so break as we set to get the rooms up and stuff, and then we can get back to you with lineups. I don't know if there are any lineup changes. It might very well be the same, but we can come back to you with those when we know.
Bins, maybe. We'll see. All right, and we are live for the second match of the D2 qualifier between LSU and Melody. And last match was very, very, very eventful. We saw an LSU comeback from quite like a 30-point deficit from Melody, and just a GP of like top threes, top 3 5s. Like they straight just said, "Listen, we're not losing this match." Came back, are up 1-0, and now the stakes are even higher for Melody, and LSU is 1 win away from being seeded D2. So let's see just the lineups, and we'll see if there are any changes. Looks like there are no changes to the LSU lineup. It's pretty much the same as before. But there are some changes to the Melody lineup, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Mary Meg is subbing in for. I'll find out for who in a second. I'm not sure for who. I'll check the chat. But Mary Meg is the sub for Melody. As far as I know, that's the only sub.
Okay, so both
Melody.
lineups remain the same basically. So
Yeah.
as we saw, Brody and Sam were the very strong runners. Trippy was the Schlager. You know, he was the one was using his items the best. I feel like he was using his items a lot more efficiently in terms of back spams, getting the other players out of spots. Rerum did play well, but he did make a couple like slight mistakes that if he just kind of corrects, then I think he'll be a very, very big contributing player. And I think he'll definitely be able to score and hold his weight. And in terms of Melody lineup, if Mary Meg is subbing in, depending on for who necessarily, we don't know yet. But I think that
we'll pass it along when we know.
Right. Obviously. But I think that a change in lineup could be effective. We'll see. I think it kind of brings like a refreshing presence to the call, maybe like a little more energy, because when a player's subbing in, like they're fresh, they're not scarred with Mario Kart rage. So they might be able to calm down the call, who knows, and get kind of Melody over the top. So we'll see. This is going to be quite interesting, and honestly, I think Melody has a chance to win this match and come back. Let's not count them out because they were winning the majority of match one, and they were making extremely good plays, and they were in frontal presence for a good fraction of the war. So they have a chance. So we can see this, easily turning into a 1-1 situation. But I think that LSU are still going to be the favorites to win, but it's still possible. So, Vinny, if you want to chip in your thoughts about this matchup and the changes made, then by all means.
So we just got word that Miriam Meg is subbing in for Karalte. So it's their Melody new LU for match 2 is going to be Charge, Kenny, Mark, and Miri, and then Jack bagging, assuming, unless they're subbing in another bagger. But that appears to be the lineup. And then same, obviously, for LSU. So for Melody, the key to winning match 2 and to tying this up 1-1 is just to forget about that last war. They have to forget about that choke, about losing that 30 to 50 point lead, and just move on and say, okay, this is a new match. We're starting fresh. We know we can win. We know we can win races against these guys. We've just got to go out and we've got to play. We've got to play even harder. Like we've got to turn it up to another level. And the key for them is just mentality. It's not necessarily like making mistakes on the track because we didn't see too many mistakes for the most part from Melody. We saw some pretty good mechanics from him, pretty good driving, pretty good bagging as well. We saw Jack getting his fair share of shocks. So for me, they just need a good mentality, a good mindset. They need to not tilt and call. They need to. I hope they're going over a game plan right now in call as they get ready to start a new game plan, and just clearing their minds and saying, okay, we're gonna come out and we're gonna dominate. And we know we have the skills to win. We have everything we need to win this match. We just need to go out there and play. And hopefully Miri, it can bring with him good running and good comms like he usually does. I know he's got a lot of chemistry with these guys he's been playing with with Charge and stuff and all these players for a long time now. He played in IS back in the day, back in MKPS with them. So he knows their play styles. He's very comfortable playing on them. I think this is a good sub in personally. I think Fresco. I think this is a very good move from Melody.
Yeah. I think that you know, definitely we didn't see Karalte play his best last war. So obviously I think a sub will change things. Now LSU's lineup remains the same. They still have their same main lineup. And as we say, their presence as a team and the players that play for that squad in the main lineup are extremely good. So it's going to be a test. You know what I mean? It's going to be a big, big test for both teams. And I don't know. I just think that LSU is just going to be favored to win again. Their players are honestly, in my opinion, just stronger. They just have a lot more experience in higher div teams and leagues, obviously. Like Brody, Sam, etc. But that doesn't mean that Melody can't come up and just swoop and take the win, because we did see them in the lead, and even though they didn't keep the lead, now we know that Melody has a chance to win, and they can win, right? Jack was pulling shocks, and I think that Melody. I think if they played a little bit better GP3 last war, then they definitely would be up 1-0. So this match will still be an interesting match. Even though LSU, in my opinion, are the favorites to win, I think that Melody can easily just come up and like win this match, especially with the sub.
Definitely. And we do see same baggers in the room, Sully and Jack. But yeah, I'm with you, Fresco. I don't see how you could pick against LSU here. The the mentality has to be really good in the call. Like they're hyped up right now after that comeback they made. They're confident in their abilities. They're playing with house money right now. I don't see how you could pick against them to win this match. I'd personally I'm predicting they'll win this match too, just based on based on their momentum, because they have all the momentum right now. I just don't see how I could pick against them. We see 10 in room here, so we should be about ready to start in a second. But yeah, that'd be the pick right now.
I think that LSU is going to be more composed this match because they know that they're up 1-0, and it's not like they have nothing to worry about, but Melody has like 5 times more things to worry about because they're down 0-1. So I feel like now that LSU is a little more confident or a little more comfortable now, I think that they're going to end up making better decisions, and they're going to be more level-headed when it comes to the plays that they make and the tracks that they pick and all that stuff. Um, and that's going to prove to be a challenge against Melody, especially when you add a new presence to the call. You never really know how that's going to affect the lineup. I mean, it could be a good thing, but it could also be not a good thing. We don't know. So it's really just a matter of how Melody is going to be able to handle this pressure and how they're going to be able to counteract a lot of the things that LSU did GP3, because that was literally their issue, was just one GP of just LSU taking each race by like 30 points. And we're gonna see if they can counteract that and be able to maintain a lead if they get one in this war.
That's right. We see RBC getting picked here. LSU's track pick comes out, and let's get into it. Match 2. Hope you guys are hyped. Should be a good match. And we see a bomb snipe coming in here that was going to take out Trippy and one of Melody. We see Rerim in 4th right now, Miri in 3rd. Charge holding down 1st right now. So Melody is one. Looks like it actually was top 3, but Miriam gets redded by Rerim. So now just top 2 for Melody. Mark in 2nd, holding down that, avoids the red. And Sam coming up in the start using that early. I like that. You gotta get up there and contest those top spots on RBC, and gets triple reds as a chain. And doesn't look like they'll connect, but Trippy is now up here as well. So top 2 and then bottom spots for Melody, but we'll see if LSU is able to break up. these top two spots right here. Bagging battle looks to be fairly tight, but Jack just trailing in 9, Sully in 10. So shockless at the moment, but we know that could change very soon.
Yeah, and as we see Rerum in second, it looks like Melody is 1-3. It's not looking back too much. Yeah, they are 1-3. And that's very, it's a pretty comfortable spot. It's a pretty comfortable lead. And Pack is still kind of close. And as we see Rerum getting bumped on the cut there, so they are top 2 now. That's not good for LSU. This is exactly what Melody has to do. This is what we were talking about. They have to be up in those spots. No blue shell so far, like last war. Yeah, so LSU is going to have to pull a blue shell here because Melody is in a very, very big lead, and they're in a dire situation. Trippy has a TC, so he's going to be even more slowed down. If LSU doesn't have shock here, or they don't have anything to really counter Melody's running, then it's just going to be an easy Melody top 2 because all they're going to do is just double back spam and just slow them down even more.
Sully's in 10, yeah, at the moment. I think it's still shockless. We see both baggers still going backwards, so Sully could pull shock right here if he doesn't have already. We see still top 2, Charge in second, Mirian first for Melody, but Rerun with these triple reds gets one of them taken out by a green, another cracks on a wall, but yeah, these aren't going to crack, so unless Sully does have shock and Rerun calls him a set, which he does, so LSU shock, which TS is Miri as well, and Rerun is going to get triple greens as the change is going to have to
does he get the snipe, though? Does he get the snipe? I don't think he does. I don't think he does, but Melody does get 1-4, I believe. I think Trippy did take the cut there, or not Trippy. Brody, yeah.
Brody took, yeah, he took cut. No, you're good, you're good. So
yeah, it was like it was super fast. Like he came in like a blur, and I was like,
it all happened in a second. I don't blame you one bit, but Miri, I think, failed the end of the rail and hit the wall, or Brody may have bumped him for all I know, which probably was likely outcome. That got LSU 2-3, and instead of 1-3, it was 1-4 for Melody there. But clutch shock from Sully. But that was Sully's only hope, was to get shocked into set there, pull the whatever he got, and then spam him up. And while they did TS Miri at the same time, that did do a little bit too with this all the while. So good shock there. Still a 1-4 for Melody. But we see a pretty even race for the most part, barely winning maybe by Melody. We'll see. We'll get a score update in just a split second here. But
yeah,
hectic first race to say the least.
It was extremely lucky that Sully pulled that shock there because Melody was top 2, 1-3 the majority of the race, and they were keeping those top spots. And at that point, it was basically Sully who had to kind of pick it up there and pull the shock. So, I mean that's extremely good for LSU. They definitely got bailed out there because it definitely would have been worse if they didn't pull that shock, and that's definitely not a problem you want to have. If you regardless of whether you have shock or not, you want players in top spots and you want at least one player in like a mid to bottom spot. So in the event that your team doesn't have shock, at least you'll have one player that can kind of get up there if the worst case scenario does happen,
Right, exactly. Like we saw Melody did a great job of running it up there, raise 1, which is what you want to see. That's an encouraging sign from Melody to get off to a good start. And as you said, Fresco, obviously you can't rely on shock. You want players, a good balance of them, top, middle, and bottom, while getting those dodges, but also running it up there at the front. But we'll see what they can do here on GV. As you see, rerun the triple nanas in second right now. Charge is going to, with no item being first, and he's going to keep first because Rerum does not have a red shell, as we know, but hits the dirt a little bit in flub, so Rerum takes over first for the moment for LSU. And we'll see a niche attempt at a Nana from Charge, doesn't hit. Mirian second right now. Doesn't have Nana, just kind of did a little zigzag there, but Charge unable to bag people on the cut, so we'll see some rock hop takers.
Oh, and he hits the third when he comes back down from the ramp, yeah, and as Rerum is in fourth with a red, lets Mark pass him purposefully so he can red him. That's a good play there, and he pulls a Sherman fourth. So now if he doesn't hit anything or, doesn't get redded, whatever it is, he can take rock here and he can just expand his lead over Mark, and he can get up in the at least third, maybe second,
I think he'll be able to
as
get
we
into.
see LSU being top 2-4.
He should. If it
Oh,
wasn't for that
ouch.
red, he would have been able to get into second or first, I believe. There, as people were just starting to come around the rock. But nonetheless, yeah, that red's going to take him out. And Charge takes the golden rock, and he's going to find himself in third here. We see Trippy in second, and Sam. Yeah, that's Sam in first right now. So top 2 for LSU. We see Jack sitting here after making the backward strat in the cave. Here, another bagger down by the
Charge pulls a Shroom in
rock.
third, and as we saw the POW, it POW'd Shroom off of, I believe, Trippy or like Sam. I think one of them had Shrooms, and Charge gets back there. So I think his hope is that his bagger Jack has shock. We'll see if he uses it anytime soon. I don't think so.
There it is.
Yeah,
Shock did come in. Oh, but it dodges
he
rear
gets shock red in. Yep.
So LSU shock from Sully there. We see Rear get second or third. That was
pretty hectic. Yeah, it was like
tracker change at the last second, so he might have gotten third there, as we saw. Everyone just finished at the same time, it seemed like, but yeah, back-to-back races where the shot came in clutch for LSU. Got charged out of cut and Sully in the cut, so he was able to pass him, gain a lot of spots there. That's GV for you. I mean, you can run the whole race only to lose it thanks to the other team getting shock and it killing you due to the other team dodging and cut. But yeah, we see Sam gets first, so 1, 3, 4, 6. So still a really strong race for LSU. Yeah, and we saw Mary get second there, charging 4. So LSU is going to be up by a little bit after this. We'll let you know when score update. Yeah, so 69-53 in favor of LSU after 2 races. So starting off strong once again. We'll see if they can maintain the momentum, or if Melody is going to have a comeback up their sleeve. We know it's early, but this really can set the tone for the whole war. It really can. A good start is the foundation, really, for a match of these stakes with the qualifier. You need to lay the foundation of a really good start, because they can snowball. Just we see DKM coming out for LSU here.
Yeah, I mean DKM is just that track that LSU loves to turn to whenever they're in these good situations where they're top spots. That's one of their go-to tracks, and as DKM gets picked, we saw that the last time the DKM got picked, LSU was just gone top 3, and literally a shock or a blue shell did not do anything to them. So, yeah, we're gonna see if history will repeat itself, and here we go.
Starting off, we see triple greens for Rerim. Mirimag trailing the Nana here. Rerim doesn't. I don't know if he tried the outline there, but he might be able to actually outline Miri around here. Miri might opt to concede due to the triple greens. Takes out the Nana, and we'll see if Rerim can land a snipe here. Charge got back there, got hit, so he's going to find himself in 7th with the golden, and spams a good idea from him. And Rerim's still trying to get Miri out of second, and he does green him.
He does. He trails it with the triple greens, and we'll see if he backs him in the cut.
But
it hits the wall, and he hits Brody, I think, instead of...
Yeah, Mirimag's back in third because of that. Kenny in second, so 2-3 for Melody. Mirimag with triple nanas, breaks the red there. Man, that cut, hitting the wall, the cut there was bad, because that could have been top 2 for LSU and at a huge advantage there. But we do see Trippy up here as well at the same time. So 1-4-5 for LSU at the moment. Both baggers obviously sitting at the boxes here, so keeping it shockless. If you're LSU, I mean, I would try to keep it shockless at least for now. We see Mirimag die just a little bit there, but Trippy with a TC, unfortunately. So if he doesn't pass, he'll be in a really bad spot. But LSU, probably trying to keep it shockless, and if you're Melody, you're probably trying to risk some boxes by now, maybe. Good Nana and Fib attempt there at the cut, but isn't going to connect. Kenny still in second right now. A Nana snipe attempt on Rerim doesn't connect.
And Sam gets, sniped out of first, or something happened to him, and he lost first, so now that Melody is, like, 1-4 now, we're going to see if Melody can maintain those spots, and as we see Charge holding that blue shell. So if LSU does get into first, then, well, you're going to have a blue sandwich coming your way.
Exactly. If you're Sam, you've got like a nasty surprise if you do happen to get into first or as soon as you cross the line. But Reaver is protecting him, hits the Nana, never mind, and with the Shroom, we see Miri in third now. Takes all boxes wisely. Looking like it's going to be 1-3 for Melody here. Blue gets thrown. I don't think it'll connect on the line. Yeah, that's going to hit after. But a good race for Melody, it appears. Right there. That's the race they needed on LSU's track. You were thinking LSU had all the momentum that they were going to run away with this, but Melody had other plans, and that's what you wanted to see from Melody there, is getting up there, contesting the top spots. Miri did a great job of contesting, and Kenny. He did the best job as he was in second and first the whole race right there.
It is kind of unfortunate that Charge did have to hold up Blue, but that was definitely a play that you had to make at that certain time frame. As we see Melody getting top two,
they got
bottom
top two.
two.
Oh, I didn't think Tribute or Sam got overtaken there. My bad. I didn't think Sam got out of second. But yeah, top two for Melody, even better than I thought of a race. And for sure, a good play by Char to hold that blue. I mean, you gotta play for the team, you know. If you start playing for India, it's like that's just you're not gonna win at that point if you just decide to fire blue. So you gotta play for the team, and it will pay dividends in the end, as we saw there for that race. So that's gonna bring the gap closer, 97 to 86 in favor of LSU. So only an 11-point difference right now, and we'll see BC3 getting picked for LSU. That's Reram's track pick. We see MH being the track pick for Melody here. They're really strong on that track. And I mean, for LSU, you just gotta shake it off. It's only one race. You gotta keep moving forward. And for Melody, you really have to build on that last race. You need, and as we see Moonview, their track pick getting picked here, you really need another winning race here. You gotta build off that and build some momentum up right now. A good start on this track could help with that.
Yeah, and we can see top two backing their items this race as well. We can see trails from first, backs from second to get LSU out of those spots. So if that happens, that's definitely not going to be something you want to see. So it's going to be LSU that has to shroom up. They have to get up there as quickly as possible because Moonview is that track that if you get back spammed, if something happens, that's it. You know, that could be the difference.
Is exploding right now in all the top spots. They just got dismantled. And Trippy is going to find himself in first, Charge in fourth. Reram forced to use his star in fourth due to getting redded. Going to try to go for the stop star at Kenny. I don't think he hit anyone, but we'll see what backs Trippy will do. Good Nana right there around the car to get charged. That's what we mean by Trippy backing there. He knows all the backspin spots. He's backing is his game and schlagging, and he showcased that there once again. But we do see Melody still in 2-3 2-4 right now, regardless. But if you're Trippy, you gotta keep trying to back and try to get them out of there and hope that LSU can get back up here. We see the bagging battle.
Oh, and he drives right into that car. That's just not what you want it to happen. As Shock comes, and I think that that might have been Melody Shock, maybe.
I didn't see who's in. I
didn't see who's in the build because the POV switched, but yeah, that's just not good.
That mental mistake was bad from Charge.
Because Trippy might have lost first because of that, or actually, I think he still is in first.
I believe he's still in first so far. At the moment. He is, yeah. We see top two, though, for LSU with Sam is in second now, Mark in third. TC pull for Charge in fourth. That's detrimental.
Just not good, yeah.
He can't pass it to Jack either, to the bagger, so he's going to have to eat this TC. And hits the car again. I mean, it doesn't matter. That's done. Really, but,
over.
I mean,
Shlag by Reram. Top 2-4 potentially incoming. Top 2-5 or top 2-4-5
up right now. Here he comes. Yeah, top 2-4-5 for LSU there. Amazing race. Charge. I mean, he just can't make those mental. This is
no blue shells either.
Know where the car patterns are right there. Yeah, you're right. No blues. No blues. Just the shocks from Melody or from Melody. Yeah, my bad. I don't know, but regardless, the biggest mistake of that race was the car hits. Gotta know where the car patterns are to go wide or tight. The second one doesn't really mean as much because he was getting TC'd, but nonetheless, really good race from LSU. Way to bounce back.
I'm thinking that Sam might have dodged instead of one of Melody's players because he definitely was in the back. He might have held Bill
Yeah, it was
and
LSU
he
shotgun bad.
probably
I don't know.
yeah, because like I didn't see who was like using the bill because the POV kind of like switched a little bit, but it's fine because I think that was Sam and he kind of build up and then yeah, I think just the combination of that and the combination of schlagging from Trippy, like him staying in first, giving LSU that time to get the items that they wanted and to recover accordingly, and the fact that Melody did kind of hit some cars and stuff like that was just a recipe for disaster and
Yeah,
very, very good for LSU and just expanding their lead even more. So now, if they get like a -1 race or -5 race, they don't really care.
that's right. That's right. Like for Melody, that was just a missed opportunity to build on the momentum they had. They got their track pick. We're hoping to see them get a good race to to maybe take the lead or just at the very least build momentum. But LSU takes it right back, thanks to the amazing work and back spams of Trippy there, as we saw that Nana was really good lap 2. There's just no avoiding that. 138 to 106 now for LSU. So I've got a little bit of a lead after after 4 races, and we'll see what they can do with it. We see TF getting picked for LSU, so they get their track pick. They won't go for Bill, obviously. For Melody, you just got to get up here early. You gotta try to get him out of there and contest those top spots. As we see Charge trailing this red in 6th. Someone got taken out right there. Kenny's up there trying to contest Brody, and opposite stream up. Ream spamming the star to get up there too.
I think he's trying to stop star them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can do that. At least slow them down a little bit. I mean, wasn't really successful, but as long as you can at least attempt a schlag, and even if it doesn't work, if you slow them down at the very least, that's definitely a schlag in my opinion. Like that's definitely something that like will help in the long term because like I've seen players who will schlag, and even though they don't hit the person they're trying to schlag, they slow them down like substantially to the point where it gives their teammates a break here.
Right.
And
it's almost equivalent
just
hitting
that's
them.
just big as well.
We see Rerim using another star. We saw a couple of sliding attempts from Trippy and Omega, but they didn't connect. But regardless, we see LSU still in a couple of the top spots. We see Brody up there. Kenny is in 2nd at the moment. One of the baggers fell off, so it's at the moment it's still shockless, but we see Blue coming in on Brody, so that's okay, no, I think Sam. So regardless, Kenny is gonna find himself in 1st right now. 2-3 for LSU. Charge gets a mega here, but at the moment I don't think anyone has shock. Jack's gonna pull.
Oh, they do though.
Jack pulls shock.
Do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charge dodges a mega. They TS'd re-rim. Really good shock from Melody there. Kenny gets redded out of 1st though, so Charge is gonna take over using that shroom to get into 1st. Should get 1st here. A pretty
sure if LSU doesn't chain a blue.
Yeah. Last second blue.
And it looks like Melody is 1-4 right now. We can see Riram can steal 4th and get a winning race out of this situation. Yeah, we're gonna see. Yep, there we go. LSU gets 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe, out of that red shell.
Really good play to go around on the side of the wall there rather than ramp, as he knew he wasn't going to make it to the ramp without hitting the mud. So a smart heads-up play while reading Kenny at the same time. And those are the plays that'll win you those races. That's the difference between just like winning and losing right there. In high div and low div, higher div players will know where to go for like a little contingency plan, like we saw from Ririm there. So we see Melody
2, 3, 4, 6.
2, 3, 4 for LSU. So they're commanding this match once again. They're not out to deficit. Now they're trying to run away with it. I wouldn't say that by any means that they run away with it yet, but they are slowly but surely building that lead. And for Melody, you just gotta stay composed here, and you can't start panicking. You can't start wondering about losing 2-0 or losing the qualifiers just yet. You gotta stay composed. You gotta stay emotionally present, and you just gotta keep plugging here if you're Melody.
Yeah, I mean, I would say stay composed and stuff, don't panic, but also be a realist and know the situation you're in. Like, you have to at least be aware, even if it's not emotional, that you have to get a good race here.
Yeah.
Because it's better done sooner than later, and Melody is gonna have to get something here. They need something with the shock. They need to something with like, like a top 3 commanding lead, something like that within the race, within the confines of the race. They need to do something here to get themselves at least within a certain uh, point difference to where now it's possible. You know what I mean? But right now, I think that they're playing a lot more sloppy, like that, like a burnout. That
Bernie Hump
they're
first.
just making these weird errors, that they weren't really making before. And I think it could contribute to the fact that they are losing by a good amount, and they might just be playing a little bit sloppier. And as we see at TC, that's just super unlucky. And that's just how the dominoes fall. You burn out in first, and now you see yourself trying to pass a TC and losing time just to pass it.
Yeah, he lost so much time trying to pass that TC, but did end up passing it. Ops to back is red. The pack is so spread out right now. What is it, BC3 or something?
It's a worldwide.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but 2 shrooms for charge right now in 5th. He's probably gonna have to take the cut up here. Rerim using his star, trying to catch up in 8th right now. I'm trying to figure out where everyone's at right now. Looks like the bagger's still going back. I don't think anyone got billed just yet. We see Miri in 4 right now. One of the baggers going back in a star. And we see Brody's up there as well. So it looks like LSU is, I think, most top spots. Yeah, Mark's back there as well. And Stop Star's rear rim in 7th too. We see Charge and Mega here. Will we see a shock? I don't think so. Looks like it's gonna be shockless. Because Jack's driving the pack. Yeah, he drops a star there, so LSU shock. Good play there from Jack, and we'll see. We're gonna get a bomb spot, but Mark as well in the bag. So I think
that's another win for LSU. I feel like it's another winning race for LSU, because definitely it was Sam and Brody up there pretty much the whole time, and it wasn't until last minute that we saw any type of shock, and it really didn't really matter too much. It didn't dictate much.
Yeah.
So we're just seeing LSU extremely, extremely dominant. We're just seeing them, even if they don't get a big race. It's just the fact that they've kind of compounded all these other big races onto the lead they have now. And if they get like a +5 race, or like a +4, like whatever it is, even though it's not that much points for them, it's still something. And it takes time away from the clock for Melody to make that comeback that they desperately need.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Very valid and accurate points there. You gotta wonder if Melody is starting to get a little nervous now, if hands are sweating a little bit, because they are right now in danger of losing 2-0 in the division qualifiers and not getting up into D2. Right now it's 203 to 163 in favor of LSU, so a 60-point deficit for Melody. Pretty big deficit to come back from a pretty tall task with 6 races left. Try to come back. We see DKS, LSU's pick, getting picked here, and that's really good if you're LSU. As we know, a lot of their guys are very strong on this track as well. Sam, Brody, rear rim, Trippy, they like this track, and I fully expect them to run up here in these top spots. Although if there's anyone I would expect to contest against them, it'd probably be Miri, as this is one of his stronger tracks, I'm pretty sure. But we'll see. Charge with a Mega.
Oh, Charge with the stop Mega. Oh, and then Rerum gets the star, and then he stops to get the star, and the star's Mark out of his star.
Yeah, that was kind of a little silly, and chains a Mega as well while he's at it. We'll see if double does end up getting blocked. A back bomb attempt doesn't hit. Didn't look like double was blocked, but it's smart to go around with that back spam from Charge. We see Kenny in 3rd at the moment, Sam in 4, or 3 now for that matter. But I believe LSU is 1st at the moment, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Brody is in 1st. So we're going to see Charge throwing that blue over to Brody. And DKS is one of LSU's one of their strong tracks as well. So this is exactly why LSU is in their top spots. DKS is one of their better tracks. So yeah, that blue shell was pretty productive there. So we're seeing Melody in first now. I believe they are 1-3.
They're 1-3-4 now. As Char does snipe out LSU there. So yeah, 1-3-4 still Sam's the only frontal presence right now for LSU. We do see a blue coming in though on Kenny from LSU. There's the cannon shock, LSU shock there, dodges re-rimming cannon.
And then another blue shell.
Yeah.
It goes for Sam.
Triple reds for re-rim here. He could wreak some havoc here with these. Yeah, they do connect, 2 of them, and triple shrooms as well. This could be really good for LSU as we see Sam in like third right now.
Double.
Miri kills Charge, I believe, off the cut. It's a little bit of team kill there. That's gonna really kill him. Trippy is in third. Miri in second, it looks like now. But I think 1-3-4 for, or top 2-4 for LSU.
It looks like yeah, looks like it. It looks like Melody got bottom 3 there.
I believe they did, yeah. That team kill on the cut was very bad.
Yeah, that's definitely something you don't want. Yeah, that's just a mistake that you can't make. Just like any other mistake is kind of messing up your own teammates there. Definitely wasn't intentional, but when you do have triple greens, I think a better approach is kind of going back to Schlag.
Yeah,
I think LSU's members while they're trying to take double instead of kind of have them dangle around while your teammates behind you, because like lag is a thing, and maybe he wasn't close on his screen, but his teammate was. So that's definitely just like a miscomm there that definitely costed them. So now it's just, dude, time's ticking. Like time's running out. LSU's lead is getting bigger and bigger by the minute. And I feel like if Melody doesn't get anything within the next at least a race, like if next race we don't see anything from Melody, this is most likely just going to be an easy LSU win and get seeded D2.
Yeah, we saw top 2, 4, 5 there from LSU, so their deficit, Melody's deficit just grew exponentially larger with that. And yeah, time's running out with only 5 races left. The score is 244 to 1, I think 83 that says. Yeah. Yeah, 183 in favor of LSU. So this is looking more and more insurmountable by the race. So it's coming down the wire. If Melody does not win this race, we see them get their track pick, Desert Hills. If they don't win this race, I'm just going to go out and make a bold statement that it's GG's. I'm just going to say that right here. With the way LSU's been playing, their momentum they have for match 1, I'm just going to say that's the final nail in the coffin for Melody. And I know that might be a hot take, but that's just my bold take right now. If they don't win this race at all.
And it's not even just win. They have to like dominate. They have to get a big race. It's not just like a win by 1 type of race. They have to get those top 2, 4, 5s, those top 3 5s, those top 2, 4 5s, like all that stuff. They have to get a big race. It's not even just a winning race.
Yeah.
And it's just that like LSU has been playing with so much like finesse and just like skill. They've just been outplaying Melody. I mean, let's just say it blunt and for real. Like they've been outplaying Melody.
That's facts.
And it's just you can't counter those things at the end of the war. It's too late. It's just something that if you find yourself in this deficit, you have to get a dominant race. And if you haven't been playing your best, or if the other team has just been playing so well that there's really just not much you can do about it, then I think it's about time that Melody just accepts the fact that they're a few races away from being seeded D3, which honestly, in my opinion, is not really the worst thing for them.
As we see right now, Rearman 4 right now, just golding up. We see, but back bomb from Charge, they're really good. As Melody is top 3 right now, we see Mark in first. So just as I was saying before the race, they are in top 3 as we near the end of Desert Hills. But as we know, we'll probably see a shock any second now. Although both baggers actually just fell off. So no one has shock at the moment unless someone pulls right here. It's looking like top 3 for Melody as we see Yeah, it's LSU Shock at the very last second dodges rear rim, but
There we
TS
go.
was
That top
trippy and
three
cut.
might have been maybe like top 3-6 because I think Murray was like almost getting fourth there. It kind of looked like he was getting fourth, but I think Shock happened last minute to kind of salvage a couple spots. But I think that Melody did get top 3 there, and that'll
yeah.
definitely help. That's definitely a steer in the right direction. And as we were saying, it doesn't it's not just a winning race that they need. It's a dominant winning race. It's a race that they absolutely need, like
Well,
this.
they got just that top 3-6 for Melody on Desert Hills. I mean, that's what you're hoping for with that track pick. You're just hoping for dice roll, and they won the dice rolls. Shock didn't come until the very end, and it didn't really affect the outcome of the war. So Melody gonna try to build a comeback in these last 4 races here, but that if they somehow come back and win this war, we're gonna look back on this race and the Desert Hills race and say that that was the turning point of the war. But they still have quite the deficit. It's 263 to 225 right now. But if they do come back, we'll look back at that race truly. But now the real question is, can Melody build off that race and chain, like maybe do what LSU did last war and get another top 3? Like, can they get back-to-back top 3s? Can they get top 4? You know, if they were to do that, you might have a little bit of hope in Melody still. They're gonna see if MKWii can get if they can get their track back MKWii here. Meanwhile, Garden's coming out for LSU and one GCN Mario Circuit from Mark. So random, I would assume, unless he just had no time and had to pick a certain track. You don't want to risk repicking there. But we will see MKWii, so Melody does get the track pick, and that is huge for Melody.
That's
right
really
there.
good. That's
You
really good.
needed that.
If they can play their cards right, that's a hard if. That's if they can keep those spots. If you maintain the spots, schlag, LSU out of their spots, and block glitch, do all this stuff, whatever it is. If they can do what they set out to do, then I think that another big race here will get them back in the 20s. And that's a very, very, very huge thing for Melody, and that's where they want to be at this certain point in time, as they are top 2. And as all they have to do here is just back spam and just keep your top spots. Hope a blue shell doesn't come. Obviously you can't really control that. But as long as you can keep these spots, and as long as Jack can at least keep it shockless while they're up here.
Taken off. It was Mark, I believe. He got bumped off by someone, might have been Brody. Now it's just charging first, and 2-3 for LSU. That is really bad for Melody there, as they were running it up there in top 2. I'm not sure who bumped him off. That was a little laggy. Could you tell who bumped him off there?
No, I couldn't really see. I was too focused on the POV, but getting bumped off there, like regardless, like if it wasn't by a bagger, then that's not good. And as that fib snipe, oh my goodness. What a snipe there. That was extremely niche, as LSU is now top 2 just from that one snipe.
Too. Yeah, the combo from rim. We just see blue coming out pretty instantly.
Yep.
Gonna hit Brody. So with charge, he's gonna be in third still. Don't want to snipe yourself there. Brody almost gets the back green on charge. Charge went a little tighter than that. Green snipe attempt doesn't connect, and this POW is gonna
slow him down a little bit.
Yeah. Slow him down just a tad. Re-rim with triple nails. He's showing in first right now. I'm not sure where the other members of Melody are. We see the baggers right now, kind of at the half pipe area. Don't know. Okay, one of the baggers is now starting to go forward. So whoever that is has shock right now. I'm not sure who that is, or they're just going around right now. We don't see. We don't see TS, so Melody doesn't have at the moment at least. But
literally, all that LSU has to do is just keep these spots, don't mess each other up, and they're getting a free top 2. And as a blue comes for rerum, as Melody is now in second, and a shock happens, we'll see if anyone dodges that.
I don't. Yeah, someone
I think so. Someone did dodge. Who? The question is Kenny. That and the blue shell comes as well. So that will. We'll see what happens there. Brody gets blue on the line, as we see Kenny getting first, and Melody gets 1-3.
1-3.
But I think they do get bottom 2, so it wasn't really much of a big race.
I don't even know if that was a winning race. We'll find out on the results what the baggers bought. That might not even have been a winning race. If Melody did get indeed bottom 2, and if Jack got 10th, then that's winning by 1 for LSU. So they still may have managed to salvage a winning race despite all those blues. Once again, we see the blues not once again LSU overcoming all the blues. It's getting thrown at them. 2, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6. Yep, that is winning by 1 for LSU. And for Melody, that is just heartbreaking there.
That's just time on the clock. That's just steadily but surely just going by, Even though, that's only a win for LSU by 1, that's a good thing because it takes time away. It takes one race away from Melody to make that comeback. And honestly, Melody did get lucky with those blues and that shock. And they just kind of salvaged that race because it would have been worse for them if those two things didn't happen. And it's not really a good sign for Melody because even though they did get a top 3, it was on desert hills. And, you do kind of have to take certain tracks with like a grain of salt because, like there are luck tracks. And LSU was running it up in BCWE despite starting everything behind third. So we're not really seeing much of Melody's presence at all at this point in the war, and that has to change if we want to see any hope that Melody will extend the series to 1-1. So I think something definitely has to change.
Exactly, and we do get word that Melody does have a -10 pen from RDH too, so that'll set LSU back just a tad. I believe the score is updated to reflect that. If not, we'll get that updated. But yeah, so -10 there. So maybe Melody can. We'll see if they can take advantage of that.
There we go. Another schlag.
Right
Another
now,
schlag from Melody
yeah.
right there. That's exactly what we're talking about. The schlag is huge, and now that they have a pen, I think the chances of Melody winning are extremely prevalent. And as we see,
good cut on block.
an LSU member and a star on blocking cut, so Ream can take. And he has a Shrewman first now, so if he has a big enough lead, he can just take cut again, and he can have an even bigger lead if blue doesn't happen.
See Charge with the TC and forward there, and there's blue right on cue, but should be able to dodge it with the Shroom, yeah. Charge also going to get rid of this TC with the Mega here. But Melody at the moment is, I think, 2, 3, or no, there's 3, 4. Sam's up there. Kenny gets taken out with something, and top 2 for LSU as we see Sam in second behind Rim. Rim's going to block this cut here. Yep, gets the block down. Good block. Charge might opt to go.
Sam takes Ultra, and he makes Ultra. So now they're just top 2 gone. LSU is just top 2 gone. Sam makes the Ultra, Rear blocks the cut. And now look at that lead. That is, oh my god, and the pow dodge just
that is a huge
went over that wall.
Huge play from Sam to take Ultra there. That, like, their lead is just, they're just gone top 2. I think the only thing is if Melody can get shocked, maybe that can get LSU out of there, but I don't think that's going to help them too. Like, they're just running away with this. And Charge, I mean, all you can do is just throw these reds up and hope to God that one of them can connect. We see Rearin protecting Sam with the red.
Sam's taking Ultra again. Does he make it? No, he doesn't.
It.
I don't think that's a very smart thing to do. I think you just have to run. I mean, you are top 2, and I feel like it's just kind of for style points at that point in the war. Like, I understand you made Ultra, and Sam is like an extremely good player that he can make Ultra consistently, but I think that the risk isn't really worth it because you're already in second place anyways.
You see
and the cut's already blocked.
Too. Kenny dodging the star. Sam probably gonna get redded here, or no? It just blocks on nothing. Maybe a little bit of lag, but this Shroom should doesn't bump him off, but he does pass Sam nonetheless.
And that's all because he failed Ultra. That's literally all because he failed Ultra, and it set him back.
I'm with you, Fresco. I did not agree with going for Ultra there. Lap 3, when you're top 2, I don't know if Charger's going to go for Ultra or not. Probably not. Well, maybe, because at this point, you got to take a little bit of risk. I don't know how consistent he is. But I just don't agree with going with risking something when you're already top 2 and you're up by this much. I don't really see a risk. I don't really see a point in risking it, if I'm being honest with you. And we see 2, 3, 6, 7 for Melody. Still a winning race for LSU, a small one. But yeah, I don't think I personally wouldn't risk Ultra unless you're extremely consistent that it's almost like a given that you won't fail it. I mean, I think Sam is at that level, but still, nonetheless, I personally just would not go for it there. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it turned out to be like like a barely winning race. I mean, I wouldn't say barely, but just by like a little bit of points. Um, which now I think they are winning by, I would say 30 again, because the -10 made it so it was like in the late 20s, and now that they probably won by like maybe like 4 points ish, now it's probably back to 30. But they only
Yeah.
have a couple of races to make it right. And I think that, yeah, I think this is coming to an end. I think if Melody doesn't get something big in this specific race right now, then I think this war is over.
I think so too. With only 2 races left, score right now is 326 to 274. We see LSU or LC getting picked for Melody. So once again, they're bringing out the hard luck tracks, and they get it. Watch them get top 4 here just because it's LC. I mean, they did RDH. But we'll see what Reram opts to do here. He gets wheelie bumped, doesn't cancel his wheelie in time, so he's gonna back up and get the 8th. Here we saw Brody get a 7th. LSU bottom 3 at the moment, but it is LC, so you gotta take that with a grain of salt. You can't even like take that seriously. Although Charge did get taken out, so he's 8th, and that's gonna set him back a little bit. Mega 6 for Rerim, 7 now. And,
I mean, to me, like, this is just like a prayer track. I mean, this is just like a pray to God that everything goes right type of track, and it's like
you have to hope you can get the shot too, like at the same time.
You just have to hope. You just have to hope, honestly. And I mean, I don't think anyone has Bill in terms of runners. So if you have Bill as a bagger, then rip. Like that's just
Zoli is 10. He's
how much
gone
you
in 10 right now. And Rira Mega's charge there and has blue, throws it because Melody is first. They're most of the top spots, right? They might be top 2. I haven't seen him back in the mid pack like Miri and like Mark, so they were trying the run method on LC, which is a little risky. We see Mark now back there probably because of the blue. Kenny gets taken out though with a back green.
See Ram Golding up. He's going to potentially get first, and he's hitting a bunch of walls, and I don't know what's going on. And
Sam's there.
He did get first. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it is top 2.
It doesn't matter, even though he did take like a little bit of a sketchy cut. Sam was there to save him. So, yeah, top 2 from LSU, and that, my friends, looks to be the final nail in the coffin for Melody right there. And it looks like LSU is just going to take this division qualifier match 2-0. Get the screen results here in a second to see exactly what spots they got. But with the deficit they were already at, I think it's, yeah, it looks to be, yeah, GG's. It says 360 to 361, top 2. Yeah, that is officially GG's. LSU is going to stay in D2, and Melody is going to stay in D3. Nothing's going to change out of this match. LSU did what they needed to do.
I think that LSU is just too strong. Like they had more experience. They made the better plays, and even though they might have had a setback match 1, they understood the situation they were in. They came back accordingly, and it was all business. And I think that Melody just necessarily they really couldn't compete as much in certain situations, and LSU was just the overall stronger team. And I think that LSU definitely did assert their dominance match 2 more so than match 1, and now that they're winning by almost 60 points, this is pretty much over, and I think that rightfully so. I think that LSU should be seeded D2, Melody should be seeded D3 just based on what we're seeing this match, and I feel like it's definitely going to work out for these 2 teams in this season being seeded where they're at. So
I think so too. Like I think these guys seedings are pretty accurate, Melody should do D3 just fine in D3, LSU same in D2, as they truly have the running power 42, as we saw, like the lethal combo of Brody, Sam, and Trippy up there at the front. I mean, how can you match that if you're Melody, I mean, granted, you have really good runners, like, don't get me wrong, like Charge, Mark, Kenny, we saw Kenny up there quite a bit. I gotta give a shout out to Kenny. I saw him every race. Seems like he was in like the top 3 spots. I mean, he's definitely a D2 runner in my opinion, you know, but the rest of their runners, some of them probably around D3 level. Overall, I'd say D3 worthy probably. But you can't discredit the running ability of these guys. Like for Melody, they're still really strong, you know. I think they'll do fine in D3 as we see Charge getting T-seed in 5th right here and Rerum
The
triple
fact
green in
that
2nd.
the fact that Melody gave LSU a run for their money, specifically in match 1, is definitely a really good sign that they're going to do very well in D3 like they did last season. Even though they did lose a couple of key players, I think that they'll still be able to manage the lineup they have now. And I think running it back in D3 is definitely the right thing for them to do at this point in time. And I think that they'll have a much better chance at winning D3 now that, you know, like this qualifier match is over. Kind of like the same way that like LSU lost against BZ, you know, like the other season when they got seeded D4. I think that that even though they didn't get seeded D3, it just, you know, they just mopped D4. And it was just one of those things where even though you did lose the qualifier, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise because now it just gives you an even higher chance at winning at the div that you got seeded in as a result.
Definitely. Like, and I mean, look how far OCU's come. They were going from D4, close students to go to now D2. Like the grind is real, and the improvement these guys have made, like, really is noteworthy. Like you literally cannot deny that they've now moved up 2 divisions, and we see why. We see exactly why here in these 2 matches. Like it was on full display. We'll see another shot coming in here, which is gonna take charge into the mole, but Rerim getting drafted by Sam, which is gonna be yet another winning race to finish out. Brody gets 5th for LSU just to put some icing on the cake here. Trippy got a low spot. Melody got
So
first.
now that we know that LSU is being seeded D2 and Melody's being seeded D3, how do you think that these two teams will fare in their respective divs when the season begins? Is there any predictions that you might have for these two teams with the divs that they're seeded in?
I can't give like an exact prediction, but as far as how I think they'll do, I think LSU will hold their own in D2. I don't think they're gonna. I wouldn't say they'll get last one. I think they'll actually do good. I could see them getting like 3rd, 4th, maybe 2nd or 3rd. You know what I'm saying, in D2. I think they'll do good, and I think Melody likewise will do good in D3. I wouldn't be surprised if Melody won D3. To be honest, like you can't, like they may not be the best team, but you can't disclose their abilities. So I wouldn't be surprised if Melody wins. I think they'll finish maybe in 2nd, maybe 3rd or something. That's just my prediction, but I think both these teams will do well in their respective divs. But I'm not sure exactly what I'm predicting what they'll get, but yeah, that's just what I think is going to be the case here.
Yeah, for sure. I think that these seedings are definitely accurate. You know, even though we had to play a match or we had to cast a match or they had to play a match in order to kind of like determine the seedings. I think that how it turned out was a lot more accurate to how I believe the majority of people would have thought that this would turn out and how the majority of people would think that these two teams would kind of fare against each other. And honestly, I think that Melody will be an underrated team in D3, and I think that that is just a correct seeding for them, in my opinion. And I think that LSU being seeded up to D2, that's more accurate to them. I think the competition in D2 is a little more catered to the roster that LSU has made at the certain moment because they have added players like Sam and Brody and all that stuff. So I think that this has turned out, I think, good for both teams. Even though it might be painful to lose, uh, like very painful. I think that in the long term, I think it'll serve them well. And I'm talking about Melody here.
As we saw, final table up here on the stream was 391 to 331 LSU, so they won by 60 exactly. And yeah, I mean, your point is that Fresco with the really great points once again. Like, gotta think though LSU is gonna do great. D2, same with Melody, D3. But overall, really solid, 2 really solid wins from LSU. They show why they're D2 today, and that's really all I got to say about this. Wrapping it up in a second, but any final thoughts, Fresco, on this match before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the way that it turned out, LSU was the favorite. They won. It was all business. In my opinion, the team was just stronger overall, had a stronger lineup, had more experience. Not to take anything away from Melody because they did give LSU a run for their money, and that's a lot more than you can ask for. And I think that both teams are going to do well in their divs. Like I think that Melody, even though they lost, I think that they're going to do well in D3 and LSU winning, I think that they have the potential to get really, really far in D2 if their cards are played right. So I think that's pretty much it, you know?
No doubt about it. 100%. No doubt about it whatsoever. So we see like a little victor lap for LSU. Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. On behalf of MKWii Central, I'm Vinny.
And this is Fresco, and you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good one, guys.